Thank you, Corey. We're going to go ahead and call the Transportation, Highways, Military Affairs Committee meeting to order. Corey, can I have you please call roll?
This is roll call for House Transportation, February 26, 2026. Representative Banks.
Here.
Representative Geringer.
Here.
Representative Larson.
Here.
Representative McCann.
Here.
Representative Nicholas.
Here.
Representative Posey.
Here.
Vice Chair Tarver.
Here.
Representative Wiley.
Here.
Chairman Brown.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much, Corey. All right, we've got a little bit bigger room than we normally have, so welcome everybody. We do have a pretty packed schedule. I would like to try to get through all four bills. Biggest way that we'll get through that is if you have public testimony, I'll ask you to keep your public testimony short, sweet, to the point. Same with the committee. And as always, please address the chair as you're going through this. We'll get started right away with a fairly simple bill, and we'll go right over to Representative Posey. Representative Posey, the floor is yours, sir. Please introduce yourself for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm presenting today SF 94. It is to repeal the ending date on the Indian Child Welfare Act. Lots of work went into this bill previously before I was even here, and it was adopted years ago. And the Indian Child Welfare Act was set into law in 1978, and it addressed the placement of Indian children it relies that Indian children are more if they're connected to their tradition and culture. This law of 1978, the national law, allowed that to continue to happen. This state law that we're looking at now was basically mirrors that federal law and strengthens that for our tribal communities, our tribal DFS and other workers. So I stand for questions.
Representative Posey, just to make sure that we're doing things correct, number one, I need to have you introduce yourself for the record, if you could, please.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. Representative Posey.
And I also want to make sure we're all on the same page here. We actually have Senate File 58 before us. Is that the same one that you?
Oh, yes, it is.
All right. I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page. Committee, any questions for Representative Posey? Please, Representative Larson.
So thank you, Representative Posey. So just to make sure that I understand this correctly, 1978, when the federal Indian Child Welfare Act was created, they were saying that those federally recognized tribes who are sovereign nations have the right to determine the placement of their children into protective services. And that has been so for example, in Wyoming, if you had somebody who was a Chippewa tribe that was living here in Cheyenne, not on the reservation even per se, but here in Cheyenne, and something happened that there's a child there that needed to be placed, the responsibility would be to check with that tribe and find out how placement would be rather than doing it within Wyoming's structure and placing it outside of potentially outside of a tribal family or guardian placement. And so then that was challenged. Was it McGirt? So then there was the McGirt case that was challenged in around 23 or 24. And there was concerns on how that would unfold. So in that legislative session, we adopted those conditions of the federal act and put it into our state statutes because there was concerns that portions of the McGirt lawsuit weren't covered, and that could, if McGirt prevailed, then we would continue to function in Wyoming as we had previously. Then when McGirt was determined, there were components of the McGirt case that didn't have standing that are still left unresolved in the Supreme Court. So getting rid of the sunset allows that to stay in place in the event in the future that continues to be challenged. We would have guidance. Our Department of Family Services would have guidance on how they handle those Native American children back to their tribes. Have I got that right?
Representative Posey.
Mr. Chairman, Representative Larson, you are right on that.
Thank you.
And your comments on if there's a child here somewhere in a state that's enrolled out of state, if that DFS or whatever would contact that specific tribe, whether that's across the country, could be in even Alaska.
Follow up to the longest question ever, Representative Larson.
Could you repeat that?
Follow up? No, okay.
Further clarity.
I appreciate it. Committee, any further questions for Representative Posey before we turn it over to the governor's office? Seeing none, Mr. Soros, anything to add?
Yes, Chairman Brown, Honorable Committee, my name is James Sarles. I'm the tribal liaison to the Eastern Shoshone Tribe out of Governor Mark Gordon's office. And I'd like to add that the governor does fully support this. And normally I do not speak for our tribe. However, I have spoken to our chairman, Whalen, our vice chairman Stanford, and they are also, the tribe is also in full support of this sunset repeal. And with that, I stand open for any questions.
Committee, any questions for the governor's office? And I guess we can go ahead and generally speaking, we wouldn't combine you into the two, but you will just go ahead and for the tribes. Seeing none. Thank you very much. Representative Posey, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Also, this was a topic in our State Tribal Relations Committee meeting. We got comments, which are all positive in favor of this action before us today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will go ahead and open this. We've done the governor's office, and so you gentlemen are excused. Is there any further state agencies interested in talking on this bill? Seeing nobody raising their hands, any further public testimony? Seeing nobody rushing to the chairs, we will close public testimony on Senate File 58, bring the bill back to the dais. Committee, what's your pleasure? Moved by, wow, calm down. Moved by Nicholas, seconded by Larson. Committee, do we want to amend this bill in any way, shape, or form? Nobody wants to do it? Okay, we'll go ahead and do it. Corey, with that, we'll go ahead and call roll on Senate File 58, please.
This is a roll call vote for Senate File 58. Representative Banks,
Aye.
Representative Geringer,
Aye.
Representative Larson,
Aye.
Representative McCann,
Aye.
Representative Nicholas,
Aye.
Representative Posey,
Aye.
Vice Chair Tarver,
Aye.
Representative Wiley,
Aye.
Chairman Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, that is 9 ayes.
Thank you very much. Representative Posey, I imagine you'll be taking lead on this. Representative Larson, got cleanup on this? Awesome. All right, that takes us to Senate File 95. We have got Senate File 95 here, and it looks like we've got Senator Pappas is not with us, but I do have Representative Geringer. Are you going to present the bill for us, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wasn't prepared to, but since the good Representative Nicholas and I are on the sponsorship, maybe between the two of us, we can walk through this.
So Representative, to be fair, I'm going to kick you down to the main floor there if I could, please. Put you in the hot seat. Thank you, Representative. Please introduce yourself for the record, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am Representative Rob Geringer, representing Southwest Laramie County. So this bill actually for me is kind of an efficiency bill. If you've ever had to stand in line, which some of you may not have, but some of us have had to stand in line or take a number for a long time with the DMV and getting services provider, I think this bill could help clean that up. So it would allow third parties to offer registration services to for the DMV and the community of Wyoming. Driver's licenses, driving tests, vehicle registration, and some of the do-yourself, the already do-yourself stuff online. I apologize, Mr. Chairman. My eyes aren't working very well. YDOT sets the scope for all the services, except for the titling. There would be an additional location outside the clerk's and treasurer's offices for those services. Third-party providers would be trained and bonded, which is very common actually. And this whole process is very common in our surrounding states. Titling and e-titling is not included in this bill. This would provide cost savings to the states and allows the YDOT to provide the fee structure for this kind of thing. Language is a may, not shall, so we're not forcing counties to participate. It makes sense for really larger counties as I talked about, and it may not be needed for some of the smaller counties where it's not needed. It could help reduce workload and wait times and would require a work group with stakeholders and YDOT, the DOR to create the system that works best for our state. These advantages really help to streamline services, improve efficiency, and enhance our customer experience. With that, I think it might be beneficial to get some additional presentation from folks in the audience here that can help support this bill.
Ready before we go to anybody else? Is there any questions for Representative Geringer on the bill? Seeing none. Ms. Wilkinson, we'll bring you forward since I know you've got the upper hand on what this bill and how it was drafted and worked through, and then we will bring the department forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Good afternoon. My name is Catherine Wilkinson. I'm here today on behalf of AAA Mountain West Group. AAA has over 44,000 members in the state of Wyoming, and they have been servicing Wyoming residents since 1909. They have recently reopened a brick and mortar store here in Cheyenne. And they've always maintained their presence online, but they have just reopened a store. They are looking to provide different services to members and non-members alike. And one of those services is DMV services. So you would be able to get your driver's license and your registration at a third party. I would thank Representative Geringer for walking through the talking points of this. Again, this is a may, not a shall. In some counties, it's not going to make sense. I also want to let the committee know that this is in no way intending to replace the good folks at our treasurers and our clerk's offices. Right now, this bill does not explicitly contemplate e-titling or titling. I know that there was a work group that I was a part of a few years ago to set that platform up. Mr. Chairman, if I may have a little bit of leeway, there's another bill on your agenda that I see this as a companion bill to 107 that we stand in support of. Also, if that bill were to pass, it would put the treasurers on one system, which would make this concept in general a lot easier to do it more of on a statewide rather than county by county basis. So thank you for that leeway, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, with that, I'm happy to walk through the bill. This would just be presenting a program where an RFP would go out. It would give, YDOT has a supervisory jurisdiction, and if this contract would make sense, that it would allow YDOT to create a program and come up with rules and regulations in order to set up these services. These are offered in 23 different states that AAA has this service available to members and non-members. Some states have a small convenience fee, other states do not. It can be completely determined on this state. There are two states, Pennsylvania and Ohio, that have actually been offering this service to members for over 50 years. So this is not a new concept, just new in Wyoming, where we've never gone outside for third-party services. Mr. Chairman, back on the bill, I did want to point out again on page 2, again, that this is a may, and that if this contract makes sense, then YDOT will promulgate rules. So that is why there's a may on line 4 and then a shall on page 9. The last bit of testimony that I would offer is on the fiscal note. As this was moving forward, I think that you'll hear some commentary from our both YDOT and ETS The large fiscal note was due to ETS not having a chance to come together with everyone prior to this, and it was anticipated on the basis of having to create this from scratch. I will let the people who can get into the technical side of that visit more on this, but since then we have had a meeting and we have shared with how we have done this in other states, because this is ongoing, so you don't have to completely reinvent the wheel. I do just want to emphasize that if that were the fiscal note, then this would not make any sense for YDOT to move forward with this. So that's again why I stress the may rather than the shall. So we're just asking for this opportunity to be able to provide services. And Mr. Chairman, I did have a question earlier in the day that I just would like to address now that this does not do CDL services. With that, Mr. Chairman, I would stand for any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Wilkinson. Committee, any questions for Ms. Wilkinson in the development of the bill? The only
Thank you.
one that I have, Ms. Wilkinson, I do have one. To my knowledge, the way that this has been developed, and I haven't had a chance to actually go dive into some of the other states, but there's basically one entity that's looking at doing this and providing this. Is this well, it looks like it may be a cost savings to the state. Is there a charge to the members of this outside entity that may be interested in doing this? Is this an increase in profit to them?
Mr. Chairman, no. So they are a not-for-profit corporation. There may, but let me clarify, there could be a convenience fees for non-members and members. Different states do it differently. And so it would just be, however YDOT and AAA would like to develop it for the fit for Wyoming.
Okay, thank you. Anything further? Seeing none? Oh, yes. Vice Chair Tarver.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So on page 3, line 5, I guess I'm a little confused.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I guess it would allow for them to be able to do driver's tests. I was under the understanding that this was more like vehicles, like personal vehicles, but it does very clearly say that they do commercial driver's license testing. I believe YDOT already has a third-party vendor that does that as well. So I guess AAA could also offer that service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for catching that eagle-eye Tarver here. Any further questions? Seeing none, thank you, Ms. Wilkinson. We'll go ahead and bring the department forward. Deputy Director. I think this first time all session, we've actually had you on the hot seat, sir. Welcome back.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize in advance. Taylor Rossetti, Deputy Director of YDOT. As the previous two folks have spoke to the bill, we do really see this as just kind of an evolution of the program. They both made it very clear, and we would agree that it is not uncommon in other states to have third parties providing all the services involved with vehicle stuff. And some other states limit it, pretty tightly depending on what works for them. I do think the way the bill is crafted, as Ms. Wilkinson mentioned, it does allow us to get together with various stakeholders, county folks, treasurers and clerks, as well as the third parties that might be providing these services to really decide what works for us here in Wyoming. I think that some of the questions that came up on the discussions in this previously have been regarding how would you set this up as far as training goes. I would anticipate we would follow the same training requirements that are in statute for a state employee, for a third-party employee. Most programs in other states require significant bonding for entities to be involved in this. And generally speaking, privacy concerns, they're going to be covered by whatever state statutes are in place here in Wyoming, as well as there's federal legislation as to how information can and will be shared. And typically when these systems are built, if somebody is only providing vehicle renewals, they're not going to see any of the other data in the system. So you'd look, Mr. Chairman, look up your vehicle. That's the only thing they would see. They're not going to be able to see your driver's record or any of those other things. So that would be how we'd anticipate doing this. And with that, I'd certainly answer any other questions.
Thank you, Mr. Rossetti. Committee, any questions for YDOT? My goodness. Everybody's read the bill and feels comfortable, I guess. Thank you, Mr. Rossetti. All right, we will open this up for public comment. Do we have any public comment on the bill? Mr. McKay.
I'll apologize in advance as well.
Rennie McKay, President of the Wyoming Business Alliance. Thanks a lot, committee, for hearing this. The Business Alliance is in support of this. We think it's a great opportunity to just create a way to explore the efficiency of this programming that our members thought would be a way to save money and have a more efficient government. So I think many of you probably know this who do live in the Cheyenne area. There's a dynamic now where you kind of have to go to the marketplace sometimes to go find the best place to get your license. So people from here will drive to Torrington or Laramie to get their license. And I think for the ability to save time and money, this bill's a great vehicle to explore it. And I think that having the tool in there so that if we got to the point that the organization couldn't agree with YDOT that this truly will save the state money, then you don't go forward. So we're in support of this because we do believe it should save the state money as well. So thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Committee, any questions for Mr. McKay? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Ms. Little.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I mostly wanted to come up here and say hello because I haven't got to talk to you all yet this session. My name is Kelly Little. I'm with the Associated General Contractors Wyoming. We are in support of this bill. We come at it from a viewpoint of a lot of our businesses have fleets of vehicles, and lots of different employees that need different types of licensing and stuff. So that would be very helpful particularly for the license plate side of it, for fleets of vehicles for us. And so we do think this is a good idea. We like that it's permissive and doesn't require the department or the counties to comply, just another tool in the toolbox. And with that, I would stand for questions.
Committee, any questions for Ms. Little and AGC? Seeing none, thank you, Ms. Little. Any further public testimony? Seeing none. Going once, twice, closed. We will close public testimony, bring the bill back to the dais. Committee, what is your pleasure? Moved by Geringer, seconded by Wiley. Committee, do we want to run through this bill page by page? There was one amendment made over on the sleepy side of the Capitol. And it was just updating some language just to make sure that we had 31-1205 inputted into the correct place. Beyond that, it looks like it was thoroughly vetted over there. Any called for the question? Okay. Corey, can I have you please call roll for Senate File 95?
This is a roll call vote for Senate File 95. Representative Banks,
Aye.
Representative Geringer,
Aye.
Representative Larson,
Aye.
Representative McCann,
Aye.
Representative Nicholas,
Aye.
Representative Posey,
Aye.
Vice Chair Tarver,
Aye.
Representative Wiley,
Aye.
Chairman Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, that is 9 ayes.
Thank you very much. That has no appropriation, so we'll be good to go. Representative Geringer has graciously agreed to carry his own bill on the floor, so we will take that one over there. Senate File 61 is up next, and we have the good senator here from the land of Sweetwater to come talk to us. Welcome, Senator Jones. Appreciate you being here. For the record, just introduce yourself, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Stacy Jones from the non-sleepy side of the building, Senate District 13. And this bill is a great little bill, and it was brought to me from our treasurer in Sweetwater County, Mark Callan. And this is some issues that he has had come up. And so this bill hopefully is going to help out a little bit. It addresses the purchases or transfers of motor vehicles made from immediate family members or transfers of motor vehicles made to immediate family members when there is a loan on the vehicle. Key parts of this bill are the seller or the donor had to have paid sales tax at the initial purchase, the sale or gift to an immediate family member, which the Senate did amend immediate family member to include step-parent, stepchild, and step-sibling. And when there's a loan on the vehicle, this bill eliminates the tax owed on the loan amount. Why is this bill important? Currently, if there is no loan on the vehicle, families can transfer a vehicle between immediate family members with just a bill of sale, and oftentimes they just put zero down. And so then zero tax is due. This bill recognizes that a transfer between immediate family members is not the same as an arm's length commercial sale. Without this bill, family members receiving a car from an immediate family member, whether for estate planning, financial hardship, divorce, or simply just helping a child or a parent, and there is a loan in place, they have to pay sales tax on that amount of the loan. This seems like double taxation. Senate File 61 helps with real life scenarios and helps keep a little bit more money in our pockets. And I'll stand for any questions. And I do believe our treasurer is online as well.
Yes, and I will just go ahead and publicly admit I screwed up and I have two people online that I did not recognize during Senate File 95, so I do apologize. Corey, why don't you go ahead and let both individuals in for 61? We will call to them shortly. Representative Larson, you have a question.
Thank you, Senator Jones. There was something that I caught and then I thought I heard you mention and you say, like in a divorce proceeding, that this would also apply. But if they're divorced, she's no longer, or he's no longer the spouse. So how do we address that in the bill?
Senator Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think when we talked about divorce proceedings, it just means that, I mean, it's not necessarily from the ex-husband to the ex-wife. It just might mean that they need to dispose of a vehicle and they might want to give it to their child or a parent or something.
Follow up, please.
Fair enough, and thank you. But let's come back to that. So if there is a divorce proceeding and judgment requires the transfer of a title and it's in one of the parties' names and it's required to go to the other, then currently the receiving end would have to pay a sales tax or not. You can help me with that. And should we contemplate that kind of scenario in this bill?
Senator Jones.
Yes, and this is only if there's a loan in place. So probably if it's going through a divorce proceedings, I'm guessing the judge is going to decide who owes the loan. So it is only if there is a loan in place.
Having us one attorney on the bar here, I'm hoping he might be able to shed a little bit of light on that.
So
Representative Nicholas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think the answer to that is it's not necessary because it's not the equivalent of a sale when you go through a divorce.
Okay, thank you.
But I do have one question.
Yes, please, Representative Nicholas.
Would you be opposed if we added grandparents to this list of immediate family?
Senator Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, I would not be opposed to that. That no one had brought that up so far, but I do think that would be valid as well.
Okay, thank you.
And grandchildren, and then we could probably go into great grandchildren and could probably go back a couple lineage years if we wanted to.
Depends how long I live.
Committee, any further questions for the good senator? It's almost nap time. I'm sorry. I just got to get my digs in on all the times that we can when we're working on Senate files. So
It's all right.
seeing no questions here. Thank you very much, Senator, for being here. Let's go ahead and we'll take the person that's first on my list is Ms. West.
Good afternoon, Chairman Brown. Can you hear me all right?
We have got you. The floor is all yours. Please introduce yourself for the record.
All right. Good afternoon, committee. My name is Lindsay West, and I serve as the Carbon County Treasurer and also as the president for the Wyoming County Treasurers Association. Speaking on behalf of the association today, we are in support of Senate File 61. When we discuss taxable motor vehicle transactions between family members, they're usually few and far between. Most often, we're presented with documentation indicating that the vehicle was a gift. Less often, we see nominal sales prices, and even less frequently, we encounter the specific situation this bill is intended to address. I don't have exact percentages on how many transactions this bill would impact compared to total motor vehicle sales, but I'd like to emphasize that that number is negligible. We don't anticipate any noticeable reduction in sales tax revenue because of this change. The situation this bill addresses typically occurs when an immediate family member initially purchases a vehicle with a loan and a title held solely in their name. Later, that ownership is transferred and that debt is assumed solely by the other family member. And because there's no shared ownership, and in accordance with Department of Revenue rules, our offices have treated that assumption of debt as consideration, which in turn is taxable in Title 31 because of its use in existing definitions, and because it's not exclusively exempt. In these cases, families are often very surprised and frustrated to learn that the tax is owed, as they just didn't view the transaction as a traditional sale. By clearly prescribing that motor vehicle sales or transfers between immediate family members are non-taxable, what this bill does is it brings greater clarity and aligns taxation with existing vehicle registration statute, which already allows the continuation of registration upon transfers between immediate family members without requiring a new registration fee. Just to briefly touch on Representative Larson's questions on kind of court proceedings and rulings, if it's ordered by the court that the transfer of ownership shall take place, our offices are honoring that ruling, and we are not typically taxing those transfers. Again, the association supports this measure for the clarity and the consistency it provides. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Thank you, Ms. West. I've got one here, Representative Geringer.
Thank you, Ms. West, for your testimony. It was something you said just made me curious a little bit. How do you verify the nature of the relationship between family members? Is it just a sworn statement? Or are you just trusting that what they're saying is correct, or is there some other proof that they have to bring?
Ms. West?
Chairman Brown, Representative Geringer, is your question related to this bill or what we currently do? I guess I would say that really there isn't the requirement to, we're not usually put in situations where that's of concern, right? It's not being used very often. And so kind of the idea that maybe abuse is happening isn't red flagged for our offices.
Good enough. Okay. Thank you, Ms. West. Any further questions? I've already got two committee members conspiring back here to become brothers, so this is going to be fun. Any further questions? Seeing none, thank you, Ms. West.
Thank you.
Go ahead and bring in Mr. Cowan with Sweetwater County.
Good afternoon. Thank you for allowing me to testify, Mr. Chairman and committee. This is a good bill. I think it does exactly what we need it to do so that I can transfer all my stuff to Cody, Representative Wiley, my new brother. No, actually, this bill, it's very problematic for families, especially. We've had several families that have young children when they buy a vehicle for them, and then when they go away to college, they want to transfer that vehicle to them and help them build credit. And then they end up paying sales tax twice on that. So that was really the genesis of this bill. I think, adding grandparents and other family members makes sense. I won't say any more on this bill. I think it does exactly what we're supposed to do here. And I think our good President West did a great job describing the bill as well.
Mr. Cowan, I appreciate that. Just for the record, can I have you identify yourself?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Sweetwater County Treasurer Mark Cowan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cody, would you like to respond?
Mr. Chairman, no relation.
None.
None. All right. Committee, any questions for Mr. Cowan, Sweetwater County? Seeing none, thank you very much. I did neglect this. I do have the department. Is the department interested in discussing? Just here for questions? Okay. Any further testimony from any other agencies? Seeing none, any other public testimony? Anybody else want to claim Cody as their child? Nobody. All right. All right. We got one back in the back. All right. Committee will close public comment. We will bring the bill back to the dais. What is your pleasure? Moved by Nicholas, seconded by Geringer. Committee, let's work the bill. I did hear a potential amendment being brought forward. Representative Nicholas.
Page 2 and page 3. on the definitions of immediate family, I would add grandparents and grandchildren.
So page 2 and page 3 underneath definitions, add grandparents
On
and
line 11 on page 2 and on line 17 on page 3.
Do I hear second?
Second.
Seconded by Wiley. Short on the draw there. It's Corey, you got that? Okay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion passes. Anything further, committee?
Question on the bill.
Question being called. It was our job to make a Senate file just a little bit better, and we did that. Corey, can you please call roll on Senate File 61 as amended?
This is a roll call vote for Senate File 61 as amended. Representative Banks,
Aye.
Representative Geringer,
Aye.
Representative Larson.
Aye.
Representative McCann,
Aye.
Representative Nicholas.
Aye.
Representative Posey.
Aye.
Vice Chair Tarver.
Aye.
Representative Wiley.
Aye.
Chairman Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, that is 9 ayes.
Thank you very much. And Senator, do you have your favorite member of this committee that you'd like to carry this on the floor? You want to point at him? Okay, well. Cousin Cody, all right. Cousin Cody, thank you very much, Senator. Appreciate you. All right, that brings us to Senate File 107. Committee, appreciate your due diligence and working these quickly. This one here, we've got quite a few of the members on this particular committee here, as we did here. This is we'll call it a sister bill, if you will, to Senate File 95. Is there anybody else besides myself that would be interested in discussing this bill?
Wiley said he would.
Representative Wiley, we'll put you in the hot seat. All right.
House 95%,
107, I'm sorry. Senate File 107, Senate File 107.
Mr. Chairman, Cody Wiley, House District 39. Since all the senators are now napping, I will try to carry this Senate File 107 through committee.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Representative, floor is yours.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So essentially what we're doing here is kind of familiar to me from a previous legislation. We're going to take registration and license plate issuance system, and we're gonna transfer that from all of our local counties to the state of Wyoming. What this is gonna do is create some efficiencies, less on our local counties, and in the end, save a little bit of money, hopefully. And it should be more beneficial for folks that can't get out of the house, can get it to come to their doors, and the folks at home in the treasurer's office still get to have a say and cooperate. With that, I'm open for any questions.
Committee, any questions? Again, this one was a pretty simple bill. Any questions for Representative Wiley? Seeing none, Red, you're off, sir. Do we have anybody from the department wish to speak on this? Deputy Director twice in one day, my goodness. Welcome back.
Well, thanks for having me. Taylor Rossetti, Deputy Director at WYDOT. As Representative Wiley mentioned, this really is kind of a progression of a project that we've been working on for a long time. I'm going to take you back to House Bill 254 from 2021 and bring up a word that I'm thinking Representative Nicholas never wanted to hear again, but RIS. So as we've been modernizing that project, to remind everybody that was the motor vehicle system for the state as well as the driver's license system. That bill in 2021 put us on the clock to start moving it forward, which was good. We did get the driver's license system up and live in October of 25. We chose to start there because that was a system in which the state was basically in complete control. So we could make almost all of the decisions there without having to worry about a whole lot of input from other stakeholders. As we talked of the complexities of that project going back even prior to my time in this position, it is a very intricate system in which a lot of different people are pushing information and pulling information. And the key thing that this bill here is potentially addressing is how we will move forward with incorporating the way that the county's registration functions within law are handled in that computer system. Many of you may remember the big octopus diagram that showed all of the intricacies of these systems. Within that, then you've got all of the 23 counties that have variations of a system that are doing this function. I think what this bill tries to achieve is to simplify that front end, marry it here kind of with the state back end and get to one public facing system that would handle those functions. I did want to clarify that the bill does mention one or more. I think that is critical because I think there are still some decisions that are being made at the county levels that I certainly want to be respectful of. But I think the ultimate goal here is to have all of us essentially functioning on one system. And I think some of the advantages of that are while you guys are down here, if you needed to register a vehicle in your home county, this would simplify those sorts of things. And as everyone has mentioned as well, I do see this pairing very nicely with the previous Senate File 95 that you move forward. It makes implementation of bringing third parties into this system a little bit more simple as well. So with that, without getting into weeds, I'd certainly stand for any questions, sir.
Committee, any questions for Mr. Rossetti and YDOT? So I've got one, Representative Larson, please.
Thank you. And I'm sorry if I missed it in here, but this wouldn't prohibit you from going to the county treasurer and getting it, or does it? So please clean that up.
Mr. Chairman and Representative Larson, no, this really speaks just simply to the computer system that's behind the scenes. This bill itself does not necessarily change the interactions or who's responsible for what functions. So the counties would still be very much involved in these transactions.
Mr. Rossetti, my question here is the implementation date it's 2 years out. And we pretty rarely see that far of an implementation. And my question for you is, was that a request on your guys' side, or was that a request from the treasurer's side to make sure that we have everything married together? And is that because of the delayed implementation of the replacement for RIS?
Mr. Chairman, that's a good question. I think as we've talked through this with the treasurers, we think pushing it out a little bit does make some sense. The other thing that's overlaid ahead of this too is e-titling from last session. So if we look at doing it in an incremental fashion, trying to coordinate that project and then coordinating this on top of it, 2 years seems like a reasonable amount of time. I think that's also one of the things as we look at this. It's certainly directive to us to really get in gear and move forward with this. And I think it does the same thing for those county partners. So I think that is a reasonable target for us. On pushing it any faster might really feel like we're trying to speed into failure.
And so I'll ask a very blatant question. Are we asking you to do more with the exact same amount of money that we have been doing? It seems to me like this is, while it's a parent bill, it does seem to me like we're putting a pretty big onus on you and your employees to bring everybody underneath the purview from our counties. And I feel like love our county treasurers, love our county clerks, everybody there, but it always seems to be that there's some confliction with those entities. Do you feel comfortable being able to bring everybody to the table and make sure that this all works together? Kumbaya.
Kumbaya. Mr. Chairman, the work for this has been ongoing, and actually those partnerships are actually going fairly well. I think we've got people on the registration side talking to each other, people on the title side talking to each other, and more importantly now, people on the technology side talking to each other. So I do believe that this was going to have to happen one way or the other as part of our RIS modernization anyway. I do believe that as long as we're all open to this and understand that if there's something that happens prior to that full-blown implementation date and us or the counties are not comfortable, that we'll come together to you guys and just say, hey, we need to either push this off or we found a fatal flaw. I think that's the other thing with that implementation date of 2028. It gives us some time to find out, are there some things in there that between us or the counties we can't come to an agreement on? I don't know that this, again, is taking any additional responsibility upon us from the counties. It's actually just providing direction as far as where we're going to go with the modernization that us and the counties were both working on anyway.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mr. Rossetti. Oh, yes, another question, Representative Banks.
Yes, thank you. So you kind of alluded to a little bit. I just want to understand, has there been discussion with county treasurers, county clerks. My county has major concerns with this and felt like that they're not being heard. So I just want to know, has there been communication between this, any kind of I don't know, meetings or things that have kind of say, hey, what do you see on your side from the counties?
Mr. Rossetti, I'll let you answer, and then we also still have our treasurers online, so we'll ask that question to them as well.
Mr. Chairman and Representative Banks, I think it's fair anytime you do a project like this, right? There's always going to be a concern that all the concerns are not being heard. I would say that diligently since 2021, we've been having multiple discussions with the clerks and the treasurers every single year. We go to their association meetings on a regular basis, routine basis. Whether or not that's addressing all of their concerns, sir, I wouldn't want to speak for them. I do believe that those folks can speak for themselves, but I do feel like we have been bringing those folks to the table, and certainly if they have some opinions or ideas, we welcome those as we move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Rossetti. Anything further? Seeing none, thank you very much. Let's go ahead and bring both I think they're probably both still waiting again, so let's just start again at the top and go with Miss West.
Again, good afternoon, Chairman Brown, members of the committee. My name is Lindsay West. I am the Carbon County Treasurer and President of the Wyoming County Treasurers Association. Here today on behalf of the association to offer general comments, outline a few areas of concern, and provide recommendations to address those concerns. Currently, there are 3 different software systems used by county treasurers to issue license plates and vehicle registrations. 2 are provided by external vendors, and 1 is developed and maintained internally by a county. These systems are hosted locally and are not centralized or cloud connected. Motor vehicle registration fees and sales tax are only one component of revenue collected by our offices. Treasurers are also responsible for the billing and collection of property tax, and we serve as the final depository for all county-related revenues. These responsibilities are both at the individual transaction level and the general ledger accounting level. The system being contemplated today would become the system responsible for calculation and collection of motor vehicle fees and sales tax, but it does not provide for the other revenues that are collected by our office. That is why treasurers are placing pretty significant importance on this system's ability to integrate with the other systems that we use. For us, interoperability is not optional. It's kind of the foundation. Any efficiency gained through a centralized registration system could quickly be lost if counties are required to use that system. But that system does not interface with our existing financial and tax systems. And without a clearly defined integration requirement, the fear is that counties could be left relying on manual processes or incurring additional costs to modify other systems in order to make everything reconcile properly. For that reason, we would recommend language to be inserted into subparagraph B of section 1 to make compatibility and data exchange a minimum requirement of this system. I have provided the committee with that proposed language. We believe that would make clear that at minimum, the system must work in coordination with the other systems we rely on to carry out our statutory duties. Another issue that arose during our discussions involves responsibilities for system-related transaction fees. The bill is not explicit regarding who ultimately bears those costs. Initially, there was not concern among our members, but as conversations continued, the ambiguity became a little more apparent. We don't believe it was ever the intent for counties to absorb these transaction fees. However, clarity in statute is important, and we believe it is appropriate to house those fees alongside other motor vehicle fees in statute, not only for ease of administration for treasurers, but also just in the interest of public transparency. We have also proposed language to be inserted into Title 31-3-102 under miscellaneous fees. that provides clarity not only on kind of the notification procedures surrounding those fees, but the administration and the ultimate responsibility of those fees. I will say that the current systems that we have, they do have limitations, but I wouldn't necessarily consider those limitations to be within the software itself. It's really because they are not connected. The association appreciates the sponsor's recognition that efficiencies can be gained and improvements made. And as always, our group stands ready to work collaboratively with WYDOT to ensure that whatever system is ultimately implemented improves our ability to carry out our duties and enhance services to the motoring public. With that, Mr. Chairman, I would like to thank you for allowing the association to provide the committee with our recommendations, and I'm certainly happy to answer any questions.
Ms. West, I appreciate that. Appreciate your testimony. I'm going through my emails here. I did receive your email either last night or this morning, and I responded, and I did not receive a response back. And I checked with my secretary. He did not receive the proposed amendment as well.
Okay.
So what I would like is if you could get me that language and potentially just get it to the rest of the committee as well. If you'd like to just send it to me, I can send it off to the committee. But I don't believe that we have that. And so like the idea, but I think needing particular language is something that I want to make sure we do correctly out of this committee. So what we'll do is probably will not entertain that here in committee unless somebody has some very good wordsmithing skills quickly. We will consider that as a committee of the whole amendment, and we'll take that forward. Representative Larson does have a question.
Yeah, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Ms. West, did I hear you use a trade name or a manufacturer's name in that language?
Ms. West?
Chairman Brown, Representative Larson, is your question indicating are you asking for a specific, I guess, could you?
So, Mr. Chairman, I thought as I heard you read that amendment that you referred back to the compatibility back to a particular system, and I thought it was by name, but I may be wrong.
Ms. West?
No.
Chairman Brown, Representative Larson, no.
Okay.
That's good enough.
That's good enough. That's all I need. Thank you.
The look on your face says enough. I appreciate that. Any further questions for the Treasurers Committee? Seeing none, thank you, Ms. West. Mr. Cowan, and next, please, Corey. Mr. Cowan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mark Cowan, Sweetwater County Treasurer. I think what you just heard is in previous testimony that we need this bill in order for us to perform third-party services. We need this bill so that we don't have to send carrier pigeons to the other treasurers to let them know that somebody has a vehicle licensed in our county, in another county. And the treasurers are behind this, but I think what you just heard was that we don't trust WYDOT because Deputy Director Rossetti just stated that he will work with us, but there are some fears from the treasurers that they would like assuaged by, putting some stiff language in there that their system and our systems would communicate. And I agree with that. I think that we can handle that. It's a good bill. I think if we did have a committee of the whole amendment to just assuage some of those fears, obviously, but the bill is good. What we're trying to accomplish is good. And I think it will help move us into the 21st century. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions for Uncle Mark? Seeing none. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Any further public testimony? Seeing none, we'll close public testimony. Committee, we have heard the discussion on some potential language. And I did check with our secretary, checked my email multiple times. So what I will do is I will work with Ms. West to see if we can find some language that will be easily put into this. And then we'll work with the LSO attorneys to bring an amendment forward. With that, you have my commitment on that. Is there any further discussion on the bill before we do anything else? Representative Wiley.
Mr. Chairman, I have full faith and confidence that you'll get us from Armageddon to Kumbaya.
I appreciate that. That's a lot of trust you have in your chairman there. All right, Representative Banks.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted to explain why I'll be a no vote on this bill. My treasurer and clerk still have major concerns that haven't been addressed. Many, I was surprised that the constituent pushback as well on this bill and the ability to just keep it at, I guess they have more faith in the county than in the state. And that's, I don't think anything to do with the state. It's just we have good people at our county, and so I'm going to support them being no on this bill.
Okay. Committee, let's move the bill first before we go anything else. So we've moved by Nicholas, seconded by Geringer. You're okay. They're just fine. Anything further? Any further discussion? Question being called. Corey, can I have you please call roll for Senate File 107?
This is a roll call vote for Senate File 107. Representative Banks,
No.
Representative Geringer,
Aye.
Representative Larson,
Aye.
Representative McCann, Representative Nicholas. Aye. Representative Posey.
Aye.
Vice Chair Tarver.
Aye.
Representative Wiley.
Aye.
Chairman Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, that is 8 ayes, 1 no.
All right. And I'll have the entire committee playing backup. I'll carry this one as well as get that committee of the whole amendment. I appreciate Ms. West already just emailed that information. Corey has it. I have it. So I will take that right upstairs to our attorneys and get that committee of the whole amendment drafted and get it over to you guys. With that, committee, thank you for your hard work. We did 4 bills in an hour. Fantastic. Nice work. We do have, I believe, 2 more bills that will be heading our way on Tuesday. And I think those will be our last 2 bills. So with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.